Now, let's do some practice problem for balancing chemical equation. In these chemical reactions, I have silicon dioxide plus carbon to give me silicon carbide and carbon monoxide. Now, let's start by listing the number of atoms on each side of the reactions. On the reactant side, I have 1 silicon, 2 oxygen, and 1 carbon. On the product side, I have 1 silicon, 1 oxygen, and 2 carbon. Now, since silicon is balanced, next we're going to start balancing oxygen atom and carbon atom. Now, I'm going to start by balancing oxygen atom because oxygen only appear in one compound on each side of the chemical reactions. In this case, I'm going to put a coefficient of 2 in front of CO. That means I will have a total of 2 oxygen. By putting a 2 in front of a CO, I'm also increasing the number of carbon. In this case, I have 2 carbon and 1 carbon here. That means in total, I will have 3 carbon atoms. So now next is to balance carbon atoms. In this case, in order to balance carbon, I will have to put a coefficient of 3 in front of carbon. And in that case, I will have 3 carbon atoms on the reactant side, and which means my chemical reactions is balanced. Now, let's try another question. In this question, I'm going to show you how you can use a fractional number as a coefficient. Let's start by listing the number of atoms. On the reactant side, we have 1 iron, 1 hydrogen, and 1 chlorine. On the product side, we have 1 iron, 2 hydrogen, and 3 chlorine atoms. Now, since iron is balanced, the next step is to balance hydrogen and chlorine atoms. Now, I'm going to start by balance chlorine atoms is because hydrogen appears as a free element on the product side. So in that case, to balance chlorine, I'm going to put a coefficient of 3 for HCl. That means I'm going to have 3 chlorines and 3 hydrogen atoms on the reactant side. So now I can then balance hydrogen. In order to balance hydrogen, I can put a fraction of 3 over 2 in front of H2, and that's going to give me a total of 3 hydrogen atoms. And there you go, you have a balanced chemical equation. Now, if you don't prefer to have a fractional number in your equation, you can multiply the entire equations by 2. In that case, you're going to have 2 ions, 6 HCl, you will have 2 FeCl3, and in this case, you're going to have 3 H2. And there you have it. You're going to have a balanced chemical equations without a fractional number.